Hey, come check out You Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 dogs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.
Maybe your stupid opinions aren't right. And are you so sure your life is going so much the way you want it to go, and you're such a bloody paragon of virtue, and the light is shining out every orifice, and everyone who disabuses you of your notions is evil?
Hey, yo, what's up? It is MCM, and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Check it out. As you know, from listening from all these different times, you're welcome in my house anytime. Now, let's get right into it. I decided to do a bunch of questions today, and no, these aren't from listeners. This is just random questions. There's a couple reasons why I'm doing these questions, but I don't want to say. No, I will say. Just get to know you questions, but really it's called this or that. And I found them. I'll tell you the website is called teambuilding.com. I guess it's conversation starters. I guess if you're, it could be anywhere. I guess it could be at a party, it could be at a work, obviously. But I just wanted to go through these questions. And again, the main reasons why I'm doing it might be different from why you're doing it. And I'm not going to really get into why I'm doing it. Okay, actually I am. The weirdest thing is, now I don't know how long this podcast is going to be tucked away on the internet, searchable or whatever. But I find it interesting, and I like to explain things for better or for worse, and it's kind of funny. Maybe that's just one of my downfalls, or maybe it's one of the positives about me, whereas I used to be one of those guys who be in your relationship trying to fix everything every time. Somebody says, oh, my ankle hurts. I'll be like, okay, well, go get some ice, or maybe I'll go get some peas, and I'll put them on your knee, and then we'll give you a hot rag. I'm one of those dudes that would try to give you the answer for everything. And, it took me a little while to know. I mean, I think deep down inside, I really always knew I didn't know. But for some reason, I have always felt obligated to find the answer, figure it out. I don't know why, but I mean, that's just part of my makeup. So again, not really getting to the point, jumping around it, but basically it's funny this or that question. So what I've decided to do is to answer all of these questions. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all 290 some odd questions in one sitting. So I might make this part 1 and a part 2, or part 1, part 2, part 3. I just don't know how quickly I'm going to actually get through the questions. Anyhow, back to you. I really do appreciate all my listeners, the people who are listening for the first time, the people who will be listening for the last time, the people who will be tuning me out in the next 13 seconds. But for those of you who are, still here, I think I'm just happy that you're here. And again, if this is around for years and years to come, maybe, if I have grandchildren, or maybe my kids want to hear 2 cents from me one day and dad's not around, they can tune into this episode and other episodes where I answer questions. Because sometimes, growing up in this world, and being the youngest child of 4 and the youngest child of a gentleman who was 48 or 49 when I was born, or turning 49. So I didn't have a lot of my dad's lucid years as far as his memory, his speech, cognitive ability. By the time I was, I think 17, he just was retiring from his job legitimately at 65. And, now as a man, sometimes, the rough times that I've gone through, some of the things that I'm even going through now, I wish, like if I had my dad to talk to and see what he would think about certain things. Now, not saying that these questions are really going to answer any of those things for my kids or grandkids or any other family members or friends or whatever it is. But I just like the idea of being able to lay down like answers to questions that, you know what I mean? Like you want to find out, maybe my kids wanted to know whether I like ice cold water or if I like lukewarm water when it comes to drinking water. You know what I mean? Like that's probably not even one of the questions when I'll say I like ice cold water, but you understand, it's just a get to know you kind of thing, even though it's supposedly for team building. Now, I don't promise I can answer every single question on here because I really don't know, and I don't know if they get weird. And hopefully they don't get sexual or perverted or anything like that. I'm just trying to have this kind of like a family show, Christian show. So I try not to delve into the weird stuff too much as I can. All right. So I've cleared that up hopefully for you so you understand. Again, thank you to all my listeners around the world. I haven't really connected a lot of the social media aspect of everything. So I do like the fact that my listeners are organic. So these are people who maybe they're just searching Spotify, or they're searching Apple, or they're searching Castbox or Google or wherever, and they're listening, and I really appreciate it. Right now, I'm on my way up to, but not yet at 100 episodes of all me talking. There was one where I did interview one of my kids about school and doing school online, and there's other stuff inside there packed with some messages here and there, preaches, some couple preachers here or there, or maybe I've read a lecture here or there or whatever it is. But yeah. So I'm just trying to get through with my goal. There are a lot of different opinions that I give. I give a lot of opinions. I try to give you the best that I can on this. It's not easy having a podcast on your own without delving into the weird and wild. Sometimes my emotions get away from me when I'm talking about things, and sometimes I don't really get into my emotions and I stray when I probably should get into it. I've talked about my sisters, my mother, my father, my brother. I've talked about a whole bunch of different things. So if this episode is not your cup of tea, which why can't it be? I mean, this is probably the kind of episode where you could probably listen while cutting the grass or washing dishes or traveling a long trip, maybe with people. Maybe you guys can sit there and answer some of the questions that I'm answering. Maybe you can pause it. You know what I mean? You could do a lot of things with this episode, hopefully. So hopefully you like the sound of my voice and I'm not boring the heck out of you and everything is good. And we're going to get going. All right. So I just had to ramble for 7 minutes. You imagine how long that is, and as fast as I'm speaking, that was 7 minutes so far. That's crazy. All right. And the funny thing is I'm not a big talker, but I guess after being on this podcast for so long, like I haven't done the 10,000 hours that they say that it takes to perfect anything, but I've done enough hours now where I guess I'm getting pretty good at just being able to ramble. Now, if I could only learn to do this in real time with real people. The funny thing is, speaking about that, one of the funny things that I've still had issues with is speaking in public speaking in front of many people. I've been able to sing in front of many people, and sometimes I close my eyes. Like when I used to sing in concerts, gospel concerts, I used to close my eyes. I mean, I know my words. I know the sound coming out of my mouth sounds half decent. Luckily, most of the time I didn't have a cold or whatever it is. So I was able to express myself pretty good with the music. But for some reason, having to delve deep into my mind to bring my actual thought, besides trying to regurgitate information that I've tried to learn as far as speaking, music's a little bit different for me. There's more of an emotional, maybe spiritual connection, so it's different. But just sitting there trying to talk to, say, 30, 40, 50, 200 people at once, and being a person who takes in the stimuli from people. So when you say something and somebody, as they would say in Jamaica, twists up their face, or a person rolls their eyes, or the person starts to smirk rather than smile, or you notice the crinkle in, on the sides of their eyes, telling you that they're really in tune and happy, or found something really funny that you said, and maybe you didn't even tell a joke, and you have to battle your own feelings. So there's a whole host of things that you have to go through when you're doing public speaking. Whereas with this form, I can talk and talk and talk, and the only person that's hearing me right now is me. Now, I envision that you're there listening to me, but it's different when I have to try to take in the information that you're feeding me non-verbally while I'm trying to explain something. So there's no distraction. So maybe it's that I get distracted by other people when I'm trying to talk, because I'm at the same time trying to read what they're saying at the same time, if you get what I'm saying. So that's pretty cool. All right, hang on. We're going to get into it right now. Hang on a second. Now, I can't promise that all of these questions are going to be really cool either. So disclaimer, just remember that this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. So if you get hurt by my answers, it is not my intention. I tried to speak from the point of view of who I am, which is a Christian, a Bible-believing Christian. I believe in my heart, and I confess to you right now, wherever you are, that I believe in Jesus Christ, that he is the Son of God, and that he gave me salvation through the purchasing of his blood on the cross, or the spilling of his blood on the cross. He has given me the faith to believe in him, and he has saved my soul by what he's done on the cross, and he is alive because he rose again on the third day. So I just want to get that out the way. So you won't know of which I speak, but you will know the point of view that I have. Well, I guess you won't really, unless you are a Christian, because if you're not a Christian, then a lot of the stuff you just won't understand, because you probably haven't sat through readings and teachings and preachings and counselings on the 66 books of the Bible. So as I said, of my own account, I am not here to interfere with anybody's thoughts of what they think of themselves, but I will speak the word of God as it is, and if it offends, it offends, because it is the word of God. It is the sword of the Spirit, and I didn't write it. So what it does in the spiritual world. It is not just a regular Charles Dickens or Shakespearean type Freud book. It is the word of God, and it is different. It is all inspired by the word of God. All of the word of God is inspired by God. Even if it was written by Moses, or written by Isaiah, written by anyone, Paul. The point is, all has been inspired by and is full inspiration of what the word of God is. And the word of God is the ultimate word, because he spoke this word into being, this world into being. So when he says, "Let there be light." He spoke the word of God, and as you can see, how much creative power is in the mouth of God. All right, so now that I've kind of told you a little bit about myself, even though I do it all the time. Sorry, that's me sipping on water. I just want to be clear, because I think it's so important to state who you are these days. There's so many people sitting on so many different types and levels of fences. So sometimes when somebody says, "Oh, I'm spiritual," that doesn't mean anything. You could believe in demons from hell. They're spirits. You know what I mean? Like, we really, like, as a Christian, we really need to say who we are, to whom we give allegiance or have our allegiance. We need to speak that clearly to people, because it is very important. Your confession of faith is very, very important. Okay. So, first funny question. It's kind of funny, but anyways, here we go. First question. Now, remember, it's this or that question. So you just have to pick one. And I'm going to do my best going through these. Now, I may have to alter my questions. Actually, I'm probably just going to end up explaining some things. So let's go. Bad haircut. This is number one. Bad haircut or bad dye job? I will go with bad dye job. Because if you dye your hair the wrong color, you can dye it again in a couple days. You can just hide it out. But when you have a bad haircut, it just looks bad no matter what color it is. Sorry, that's why I got the water here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'd much rather, speaking from my experience of cutting my own hair since I was 13 and cutting many family members' hair as well, I I know that it's way better to just have a bad color. And the funny thing is, a bad dye job is subjective. A bad haircut in many cases isn't very subjective. I mean, if you have a piece of your, like a square patch balded down to your head and the rest of it's feathered and 5 inches long, it's going to look kind of strange. But maybe it look good too, who knows? All right, sorry. I'm rambling tonight. Which could be good or bad. Number 2, pineapple pizza or candy corn? You know, for some reason, when I hear the word con, it doesn't sound very delicious or sweet to me. So I would definitely go for pineapple pizza, because I like Hawaiian pizza. At least that's what we call it here in Canada. Well, I guess no, it does not. Yeah. Well, anyway, the one we eat with pineapples is called Hawaiian. Talking pets or talking babies? 100% talking babies. Being a parent and having had babies in diapers and goo-gooing and gagaing and being sick and not knowing what's wrong with them. I've had pets not knowing what they wanted or thought, which was pretty much okay with me, but talking babies, the sooner the better. Winning the lottery or finding your soulmate? Well, let's see. And a lot of these are going to go back to my staples of life or morality questions, I guess, of who I am. Answering some of these or most of these questions when they hit that way. Let's see, except for like the type of pizza or candy you want, like whatever. I would go for a soulmate. And the reason why I would say that is connections between people can be so strong when you really, really are with someone you love. You realize how much it would be if you lost them. And in many cases, many of us as people, we don't outlive our soulmates if we marry them. We don't outlive them very long oftentimes when there's that real connection. Now, you can really love your spouse, and then you can have these people who are like so much, almost like there's like telepathy going on between you two. You can read each other's minds and thoughts just by a little look. Not saying you can't do that when you just simply love a person, but soulmates, it just, I think, happens so much more frequently. And as we've seen many times with all of these different artists and characters in the news, whether it be musicians or actors or athletes or other people that came up lucky, money doesn't solve anything. A lot of the time, money can, winning the lottery can destroy you. You feel, maybe you get 30 million in this day and age, and you feel that money would solve all of your problems. Let's just say, pull it out as a scenario that there's a guy and he's approximately 32 years old, and then he wins the lottery. He's single, no kids, half decent relationships with his family members and such, and he wins the lottery. Okay, so he does the usual thing where he buys himself a Lamborghini and a house, or a house and Lamborghini, if you know what I mean. Buys his parents property, and one for each of his siblings, a girl and a guy, right? Brother and sister. And he gets all of this stuff and ends up with probably the girl of his dreams as far as looks are concerned, and he's able to live in the climate. Maybe he was living in Toronto, Canada, and now he's living in Miami. And he's because of this money, he's able to eat, maybe his favorite food is steak and potatoes, and not only just regular steak and potatoes. I mean, steak and potatoes that is being barbecued by a chef. It's the best steak you could possibly get. He could have that every day. And once you realize all of that, you can see that stuff doesn't solve it. But to have a personal connection with somebody who loves you, somebody you know who is not going anywhere except for in the grave, someone who wants to spend their every waking hour with you, someone who makes you laugh and you make laugh, and you like to watch the same movies and listen to the same types of music and go for walks or do whatever it is that you like to do, take baths. And to have someone like that far outweighs whatever money that I could get. The only difference is, I guess the argument would be that you won so much money that you could actually cure world hunger, or you won so much money that you could take 3,000 homeless people off the street and help them to educate and clean themselves up from whatever ails them, and change their lives. But then you had to be living alone. Then I would say, yeah, I picked the lottery in that sense, and say I would take that sacrifice, knowing that the end of this world isn't the end of my life and just the beginning into eternity with Christ. So, I would pick 4 maybe. After I reasoned it out in my head. And that's just the conclusion. I mean, I could have broke it down farther in both cases, but yeah, I think I would win the lottery. Weird coming from me. I never thought I would actually say something like that. But when I talked out the two, no, that's funny. Number 5, misquoted movies or mistaken lyrics. The mistaken lyrics one would be a bother to me. I'm the kind of person who, if I try singing something and I'm not exactly sure, I might pull it up on my phone and Google it so I'm saying the right words. Misquoted movies. Apparently the one from Star Wars, Luke, I am your father. Apparently it doesn't go like that. I think it's just he shouts at him and says, I am your father. But for some reason we add Luke but I can't remember. But you can go check that out. Gives you some homework. Google it or YouTube it. Number 6, test the waters or dive in the deep end. This is easy. The problem is it goes kind of both ways because, no, I'd just say no. I'd say dive in. I would definitely dive in the deep end. The reason I'm saying it goes both ways is that the times that I have tested the water and realized how cold it was like that much torture. I can't explain how much torture you go through for maybe 2 seconds. After knowing that the water is going to be cold and feeling the coldness. It's kind of strange. But I'm definitely a dive in the deep end. I don't need to know. I just need to get in there. But I mean, it does help you to know that you want to dive in. Okay. Glass half full or glass half empty? Well, probably like my last question. I can see the negatives of a situation pretty easily. And unless I'm feeling sorry for myself, I like to look at the positive. In other words, like, my job sometimes, because of dealing with people, sometimes things don't go your way. You're realizing them. Sometimes you have to say a word about things not going your way. But at the end of it, you still say, oh, well, we were still able to do this, or we still were able to connect this and connect that and make something more prosperous. So, yeah, I try to add something positive at the ends of things. Now, my first inclination isn't always necessarily say something really positive out of the jump. I may talk about the situation for what it looks like or for what it is feeling like in natural time, but yeah, you might I out of the jump, I would definitely say something negative. I wouldn't be the positive Care Bear, but I would just say what I see and feel and all that other stuff. And then I'd probably break it down into something that I would say, like, as my dad used to say, sometimes it's like you don't even want to think about these things. But things could always be worse. And sometimes we get into these spots in life where we don't believe it could be worse because we're ready to, but give it a little time. As you can see from the way I've been answering these questions, I don't just fly through the questions. So if that's what you thought you were going to get, nah, I'm way too thoughtful or way too getting lost in my thoughts to just shoot through a bunch of answers so quickly. I would like to note some level why, right? That's just me though. All right. Ketchup or ranch? Listen, I assume because it's red, it's ketchup, so it comes from tomatoes because that's what the picture shows on them all the time. But until this day, I have no idea what ranch is. Like, as far as the only thing I know that lives at ranches are chickens and horses and cows. So, I mean, what could have all those things in? I don't know. I just don't even know what ranch is. Like, what color is ranch? We know that ketchup has to be red. As far as we know, it has to come from from tomatoes. But ranch, nobody knows what ranch is. We don't even know why it's white. Why isn't ranch brown like the fences or the animals? I don't know. Anyhow, that's just my weird way of thinking. But I've always wondered, what is ranch? Is it onions, garlic, and mayonnaise? Would that make it that? Why it's white and creamy looking? Okay. Phone in bathroom or no phone in bathroom? Well, I can literally tell you that I barely know a person who doesn't take the phone in the bathroom. So I would definitely like to say, hello, Nothing would be worse taking a shower, waiting for a call, and having to jump out of the shower, run down the hallway if there's people or whatever the case is, or go downstairs and pick up a phone. Whereas if somebody calls you, which for some reason people always tend to call you when you get in the shower, you can just kind of reach out onto the counter or whatever and just say, hello, I'm in the washroom, I'll call you back. You know what I mean? So definitely phone in the bathroom. For the other reasons, I'm not sure it's a good idea, but you know, it happens. And that's why you have to clean off your phone with alcohol wipes. No. Well, you should. Sort by price. Actually, listen, I'm not going to say alcohol wipes. Can you imagine? Let's just say this podcast gets big and I literally say that the best thing to wipe your phone off is alcohol, and it like destroys 700 phones because I said it, of listeners. So let me say, if you're using your phone in the washroom, then you should be disinfecting that said phone with some type of apparatus or cloth. Okay, I hope that's good enough. Sort by price or by rating. Both, but yeah, I don't want to start that. I've already started that. I was just number 10 here, and I've already started that. Both for that. Okay, so generally what I do is I think about the value or the quality or the rating, and then I go to price, but then the rating affects the price. So I would say probably by the rating. Yeah, definitely by the rating. But I just know that sometimes you don't get certain ratings without a certain price. So that's how they're relative there. Okay, sauce on the side or sauce on top? I would honestly say sauce on top. The reason why is when you get sauce on the side, you never know if you have to hold some back for later pieces of fries or nuggets or whatever. So you have to kind of divide the sauces, you know? And who wants to decide that? I mean, do that, divide that. Hey, man, go get that Mars bar, boy. Let's see what's up with it. Yeah, I don't know. Probably can't barely hear you, but anyway. Go on. Yeah, so I'm definitely put the sauce on, because then I could see it where it reaches, and everything could be everything. So it could be goodness. Boy, I'm gonna need some more water. You have to give me a little water with this Mars bar. You don't know how sugary this thing is. Listening audience, hopefully you probably don't hear anything going on here. I'm certainly not breaking a Mars bar in half. This kid's never had a Mars bar. I'm taking half of it, and he's gonna. I guess he'll know how much he really likes Mars bars after half's already been jacked since his first one. Because after you taste it, you just want more. Hurry up, boy. Hurry up. Put it down. Okay, here. This is gonna taste so good, you're gonna wish I didn't take half of it. But it's a lesson you had to learn. Okay, go sit down somewhere. All right. Sorry about that, people. Oh, here we go. 13. What is it? Zombies or vampires? Oh, bad lucky 13. Interesting. I'll take the zombies. I mean, the zombies, well. Yeah, the vampires are freaky, especially if it's a vampire dude. Y'all know what I'm saying. The zombies are nasty, though. They could be like all oozing and half an eye missing and all kinds of craziness with the zombie. At least the vampire, he has all his stuff. He's just scary as hell. Whatever. I'll take the vampire. It's funny how we suss out these things. Rating things. Funny story or one-liner? Funny stories. Sorry, I'm eating this Mars bar, guys. I'm assuming it's not the coolest thing to be eating and talking into a microphone. So I always used to see when I would watch The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne, Angela Yee, and DJ Envy. And Angela Yee used to always make them spit out their gum. I was like, who is this lady? You're talking to this platinum selling artist, and you're telling him that that she can't or he can't have gum in their mouth while they're talking to the microphone. Well, I guess my listeners can say whether or not it's horrible or not, because I'm speaking into the same mic that they use on that show. Okay. Okay. What? Hold on a second. Oh, no wonder. I jumped a couple. How did I do that? Okay. Crunchy peanut butter or smooth peanut butter? I'll take... I'll take the smooth peanut butter. Every once in a while you get these chunks in the chunky. Yeah, take the smooth one, because the chunky one sometimes it fools you. You bite into it and it makes your teeth feel kind of funny, or in a funny kind of way. So I'll take smooth. Easy. Funny story or one-liners? Wait, I already did this. I'm like mixing myself up. Yeah. Definitely want a funny story. I'm definitely a Dave Chappelle guy rather than what's his name? Robin Williams kind of guy. I like when the person takes you somewhere. It's probably why I also liked the show Seinfeld. Bad breath or body odor? Again, it could depend. I mean, if a guy you're working around has bad breath, you can avert your smell and not smell his breath. You can keep him at arm's distance easily. But now, if it's your significant other, there's showers. But I mean, I'll take the bad breath. It's a little easier masked, I think, for times when it's necessary to smell somebody's breath. Working hard or hardly working? I would say working hard, and especially working hard at something that I'm good at and enjoy. Hardly working, laziness seems to bring more laziness. And doing nothing tends to lead to doing more nothing quicker and sooner, and in a final way, if you understand. You know, people say, you know, if you don't lose it, or if you don't use it, you lose it. And I would agree with that. So do nothing, and eventually you'll be able to do nothing. That'll be what you've practiced, right? If I practice doing nothing, and I get good at doing nothing, then I'm going to be practicing very hard at doing nothing. So maybe you're actually working hard. No. I honestly pick hard. I mean, working hard. Sneezing or coughing? Let's see. If I had to sneeze 10 times in a row, it'd be a lot worse than having to cough 10 times in a row. That's my reasoning there. So I'll take coughing. Air guitar or air drums? Air drums. I do that motion a lot more than I do Air guitar. I don't think I ever do air guitar. The only person I know who does an air guitar is what's his name? Lance Stevenson. Stevenson, he used to play for the Pacers and the Lakers. Yeah, it's funny how never looks cool. But air drums, you can make air drums look cool. Robots or dinosaurs? The heck's a robot? I think which one do I prefer? It's funny. I was watching the movie Kong versus Godzilla, and somehow that movie with the mega mecha Godzilla, it just seemed like a weird thing. Whereas at least, even though the dinosaur, what do you want to call him, the lizard, thunder lizard or whatever, Godzilla, it looks disgusting. I still take the natural thing over the made thing. Unless I was being attacked. I don't know. Yeah. Well, the robot's not as scary anyways. Guacamole or salsa? Well, I think I'm allergic to the stuff, whatever it is. If it's the what the heck's that name again? Jamaicans call it peach. Avocado. I think it's in there. If it's in there, then I'm allergic, and yeah, guacamole doesn't work for me. And then there is salsa. I like salsa. I like salsa. I like drinking salsa. Actually, I don't like drinking salsa, but I like eating salsa. Salsa. Boxers or briefs? Man, I haven't worn a pair of briefs in years. Sometimes I get a half boxer brief, but I mean, that's none of your business. But definitely boxers. The briefs are just weird. Hold my... No. Fainting or spit take? What? Fainting or spit take? Okay, first of all, I don't even know what a spit take is. Hey Siri, what's a spit take?
A spit take is a comedic technique or reaction in which someone spits a drink, or sometimes food, out of their mouth as a reaction to a surprising or funny statement.
That's a... Like to hear more? Heck no, man, you crazy. If that's what a spit take is, actually, yeah, I'll take the spit take. Who the heck wants to be knocked out? What is going on? I have no idea. Did you do that? What? What'd you say? Well, how'd that happen? What the deal? Okay, that was weird, y'all. I don't know why that happened. What the deal? Out of nowhere, Siri just decided to call up this thing and start playing weird stuff in my ears. All right, hang on a second. I gotta. If that was real. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. I have no idea why that's happening. Like, my phone has like lost its mind, and it doesn't have one. That's what I get when I get Siri in the business. Let's see if I can get it to stop playing on my phone. There you go. What the? You hear that? I like a girl with a future with a past. That's all I heard. Oh man, anything can happen when you're just taping, and I'm not cutting that out either. I think it's funny. Maybe it's weird to you because you're just listening and not seeing it all happen. Okay. Spit take, huh? All right. Speeding ticket or parking ticket? The parking ticket is just disappointing. You walk over to your car, the only parking tickets I've got is places that I shouldn't have parked for more than a certain amount of time. So that one's kind of disheartening and sad, just because there was different times, obviously at the beginning when you said I shouldn't be parking here, or know that I need to go check my car a few times, and then you don't, and then you come back and there's a ticket. That's on you. Speeding ticket, I can honestly say, because I'm a type of person who wants to be on time, and if, maybe I don't leave on time, it tends to make me have to speed. And sometimes just my misjudgment, or it's been somebody who's asking me to get them, and I, again, promised them to be there at a certain time, and then realizing that I'm late, and then speeding, and then that one really is just upsetting. It's like, I was speeding, and I didn't need to be speeding, but I felt obligated to get to this person on time, so therefore I was speeding, and this happened, and I'm just probably a lot more bummed out about that speeding ticket, rather than a parking ticket where it's just, sad or upsetting a little bit or whatever it is, because you procrastinated or something. Okay. Comedian in serious film or serious actor in comedy? I would take the comedian in the serious film, like a Jim Carrey in 23, or Jamie Foxx in what's it called again? Ray, rather than Ice Cube. Well, the first place we saw Ice Cube was in Boys in the Hood, and he was playing a pretty angry, gruff character. Like, it, you can get a few laughs, but it's just not the same thing. And maybe like what's that guy who played Batman in the day? I can't remember his name but all of a sudden he be playing this tough dude, normal straight man kind of dude, and then all of a sudden he's dancing weirdly. This is called Batusi, I think he was doing, and he danced with Batgirl or some nonsense, and it just seems so strange. Or when like somebody like William Shatner tries to be funny, it just doesn't work. So definitely I'll take the comedian in a serious film. Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, those dudes, they really know how to do it. And many other comedians, it shows their range again to say, wow, these are two different people doing two different things here. And it's kind of cool to see. That Taxi Driver movie with Jamie Foxx was definitely, there was like no jokes he gave in that movie. What was that called? Can't remember, but it was with him and Tom Cruise. And what's the name again? I can remember all the characters. And Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Okay. Silly hats or silly socks? Silly socks can be hidden. So if you really want to be silly and you want to let people know what's up with your socks, you can kind of just kick up the leg like Michael Jackson. Or you can hide them. Instagram famous or infomercial famous? Definitely Instagram famous, because, well, it depends. Yeah, no. I think I'd go Instagram. Yeah. Okay, hang on a second. Because Instagram, you could be really famous for teachings, for a few words of encouragement here or there, or doing something, I guess. But infomercials tend to be tacky, and they tend to be disproven whatever it is that they prove to you on them in the first place. So you come off like a snake oil salesman or a used car salesman, even though used car salesmen aren't always that grimy these days. So I take Instagram. Plus, I think Instagram goes a lot farther than an infomercial. Not all the stations are going to be carrying it. I know that for a fact. Okay. A store where every item is free, or a restaurant where every dish is calorie free? What the heck would I want with a dish that is calorie free? Where every dish is calorie free. But they have, like, you can go get some lettuce and drink some water at it. What does it mean, every dish? That's nonsense. I'd take the store where every item is free, because I can make, if I was at a store and I went and I could choose a grocery store where everything is free, and then I could make up the best foods. I could copy the best chefs around the world, and you know what I mean, if it's all free. So that'd be way better than just going to a restaurant and having it just drop in front of you, and you telling the dude that you want it medium rare, and it becomes just out rare. Like you have some control over your food and how good it tastes. I'm cooking for myself every time. Okay, let's go. It looks like I'm only gonna get to 30. This is crazy. So this will just be part 1, and I'll pick up right where I left off. I'll leave off at the 30, I think. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, 30 is good. Password or secret handshake? I don't even know how people remember secret handshakes. I've seen teachers on YouTube and those things where he does a secret handshake with each student, and how the heck he remembers those things totally blows my mind. There's very few things in this world that blow my mind, but the secret handshake thing and all the choreography that goes into one of those things, no thanks, man. Shake me, just a regular handshake up and down. Yo, what's up? 29. Loud neighbors or nosy neighbors? It depends. Is the noisy neighbors waking me up in the middle of the night, or are they just noisy on a whole and maybe give you something to listen to, like a podcast in the next house over or something like that? Like, how noisy are they? The nosy ones tick me off, because when somebody's nosy, they just like, yeah. But I'm saying nosy, noisy. No, it's just, sorry. It's loud neighbors and nosy neighbors. Like noisy neighbors. I guess the way it looks like from the way that I speak sometimes with my little learning disability. I think sometimes that's funny. But now I'm thinking of all of those things. But I'll definitely go for the loud neighbors, because I don't like noisy neighbors and I don't like nosy. That's what the word was. I'm thinking, oh man, yeah, I'll go for the loud ones, because generally a place that I would only live has half decent size sound barriers, so even if they're loud, chance that they can't be loud all the time. But every time I walk out and I see the neighbor looking at me or looking what I'm doing in my driveway or wherever, or across the way, that just ticks me off. Feels like espionage is going on and I'm a part of it, and I'm not a willing or compliant what do you call it, person in the situation. Babies dressed as animals or animals dressed as humans? See, that always seemed weird to me, because these animals can't exactly say, hey, yo, I'm going to the washroom now, and not crap all over the clothes that you put in it. So why would I want to dress like a monkey in a pair of jeans and a hat and sunglasses? I think I'd rather just see baby in a rabbit costume or something like that. That's fun. Babies, and yeah, I'll take the baby, or baby as a teddy bear, whatever it is. Easy. All right. So I'm going to stop right there. That was just the first 30. Again, we're doing this or that until we get through. Now, I did kind of go slow this time. I think next time I might be able to get through another 60 if I really concentrate. Okay, anyhow, this is MCM, and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Thank you for listening. Take care. Hey, come check out You're Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 dogs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while, understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, well, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.